Look, man, my first job at ESPN was at ESPNU for 4.5 years. I made $35,000, okay? Like, I was grinding just like anybody.
Point lead. They need a miracle. There's one. Williams for throw. 5.
I want to ask earlier, why isn't Jason Williams out of the game?
That's why.
Jay Williams is most revered for his career at Duke University, where he won a national championship and National Player of the Year honors twice, all on his way to becoming the number 2 pick at the 2002 NBA draft. But after just a year in the league, a motorcycle accident essentially ended Williams' promising NBA career. And after multiple attempts at a comeback proved unsuccessful, he didn't exactly find it easy to transition to his next play.
This young man right here, Jason Williams, he has had a horrible night, but he shows what type of player he is by not quitting.
What was it like figuring out your next play in that 2-year gap between?
Actually, I tried to commit suicide a little bit before that. I was not in a good place. And I remember Charles Grantham, we were having a conversation, and he was talking to me about, like, who's really on your team? Like, who are you soliciting information from in order to think about what the next steps are going to be in your life? And I think that was the first time that I heard somebody say something like that, and I kind of built the analogy of who's on your board. I was like, how come I have not been thinking about myself as a company? And I think that's when I started to actually seek the advice from people and ask them to be on my board. Ask them to weigh in on what do you think my pros and cons are as far as my strengths. And I had people that told me the truth, and I forced them to tell me the truth. It was tough to hear the truth because I was not in a good place at that certain time. And I think having those people that challenged me to think that way, I think that ultimately led me into a career into TV, and it ultimately led me to a place of understanding, okay, how do I think forward?
Williams joined ESPN in 2008 and has since become a regular on the network's most popular shows. He's an analyst on College Game Day and frequently guest stars on morning shows like Get Up and First Take. Williams also hosts a sports business series called The Boardroom.
Today's topic, the evolution of the athlete and their brand.
With NBA star Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman, Durant's business partner. So you talked about certain lessons that you've taken from the court, taken from Coach K, and I've seen you describe TV as your new basketball court.
So as you can imagine, I'm on set with another analyst and a host, and there's 4 different cameras around. You have camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, then you have the jib over the top. And you have a producer in your ear who is chiming in and letting you know what camera you're on while you're speaking. So I think it was the first time that I saw, oh, okay, this is similar to being a point guard. When I'm on the court, I have to not only know what the play is that we're running, right? The outline of the show rundown, like what are the topics coming up, but I also need to be reactive. I need to be proactive and reactive to what my teammates are doing. How am I reading the defense? Is my coach calling my name? Is he trying to get me to run a different set because he sees something that I don't see? And I think that was the first time I kind of recognized it. I was like, okay, I have to multitask here when I'm on air.
What would you say is your most important ambition right now in 2019?
So I think as I continue to do this more, diving more into the business side of it and potentially, having ownership within a network is the ultimate goal. I work at an incredible company at ESPN. I think, how do you keep expanding upon that? How do you keep owning your own IP and your own content? Because the reality is, the world I live in, we have access. So I think the more I can give insight into that access, but also the complexities of what that world really is, and then find and create that bridge, is the more I think I make everybody relatable.
When did that word ownership become so important to you?
It started when I was in college. I think in college was the first time I recognized my sophomore year. I was constantly checking NBADraft.net because all my friends were telling me I was going to be potentially the first pick. And I remember playing in a game and seeing a multitude of people with my jerseys on. And I was like, wait a second. Like, I see 22 jersey and I see Williams on the back, but I don't get compensated on that. Why?
Do you think that culture is changing, or do you think
Yes.
it's just more visible now?
I think it's changing, and I think it's more visible. I think both. I was always told that you need to focus your attention on your craft, on your sport. Anything outside of that was seen as a distraction. So psychologically, if that's embedded into your brain, you start to look at things that way because people can use that against you. So I think now that that has somewhat changed, that their eyes are opening to the fact that, hey, you can be a professional basketball player, you can be an athlete or a celebrity, and you can be diligent enough to make the right investments. You can be aware enough to start a company and allocate a portion of your time for that company while dedicating yourself to your craft. How are you building a legacy that's beyond the sport? So I think now people are recognizing the complexities of what comes along with having the opportunity to grow a legacy, to grow a business. And business shouldn't be seen as a one-dimensional thing with just one pocket. No, that's one source of revenue. You can have multiple verticals of revenue.